Opposition versus government over rising fuel and LPG prices. Opposition targets government in parliament. Mamata takes out Padayatra. Government meanwhile hits a pause on hikes before the state elections. A day after DMK promises to give 1,000 rupees a month for housewives with ration card, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and AIADMK leader EPS ups that figure, promises 1,500 a month for housewives. Centre takes over the Ambani bomb scare case and an NIA probe is ordered. Meanwhile, a political war breaks out. BJP welcomes the NIA probe, but the CM, Uddhav Thackeray, says that something's fishy. On Women's Day, women farmers take the lead at the protest sites on Delhi borders. And NDTV's world exclusive with world number 1 Novak Djokovic. He says that Nadal and Federer are special in my career and life. And then there's Joker's way for fans in India too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. A day after Prime Minister attacked Bengal Chief Minister in a mega rally in Kolkata, Mamata Banerjee on Monday struck back, holding a women's-only Padayatra in Kolkata against the LPG price hike. She taunted that Prime Minister has made COVID vaccine a Modi vaccine, named a stadium after him, and at this rate, she said, Prime Minister will one day rename the country after him. This on a day more Trinamool leaders joined the BJP. Monidippa Banerjee reports.
Mamata Banerjee on the streets for the second day in a row protesting against spiralling cooking gas prices and also attacking the Prime Minister for trying to promote the COVID vaccine as the Modi vaccine. Trinamool had objected to the PM's face on COVID vaccination certificates. The Election Commission has said the mugshot must go from certificates in poll-bound states.
আর কোভিডের ইনজেকশনে নিজের ছবি লাগিয়ে দিয়েছে কোভিড ভ্যাকসিনটা ওটা মোদি ভ্যাকসিন বাপ রে বাপ কোভিড ভ্যাকসিনটাকে মোদি ভ্যাকসিন করে দিয়েছে
As Mamata Banerjee spoke, however, 4 of her MLAs crossed over to the BJP. They are outgoing MLAs who were not nominated by Trinamool this time. MLAs that Trinamool says our party rejects. But BJP has welcomed them all, including a Trinamool candidate who was dropped this morning due to ill health, Trinamool said. But she was well enough to arrive at the BJP office and sign up.
সেটা ওনাকেই জিজ্ঞেস করুন কেন উনি আমাকে ক্যান্ডিডেট লিস্ট থেকে বাদ দিলেন সেটা ওনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করুন আজ এবার আমি জিততামই দাঁড়ালে আমি কিন্তু ছেড়ে আসি আমার দল আমাকে
যারা 25 বছর 30 বছর 40 বছর ওনার সঙ্গে রাজনীতি করেছেন তারা আজকে মনে করছেন যে অপমানিত হয়েছেন তারা পার্টি ছেড়ে দিচ্ছেন তাই তাদের জায়গায় সেলিব্রিটিদের নিয়ে আসা হচ্ছে জয়েন জেতার জন্য এর চেয়ে আর নৈতিক পরাজয় কি হবে
This is the biggest one-day exit of MLAs from the Trinamool to the BJP since December 2020, when about a dozen or so had left. The Trinamool says they are rejects. The BJP unembarrassed about taking them into their fold and chipping away at their rival for the Bengal Assembly. In Kolkata with G.D. Shankar, Monidippa Banerjee, NDTV.
However, the government appears to have hit a pause on fuel price hikes, perhaps because of the parliament and the elections. In the last 10 days, petrol and diesel prices have not changed, even though the price of the Indian basket of crude oil has shot up about $6. Meanwhile, the second part of the budget session of Parliament was off to a stormy start. In the Rajya Sabha, Congress MPs raised slogans demanding a debate over the rising fuel prices. The upper house then got adjourned 3 more times before calling it a day in the afternoon.
Now the petrol prices nearly 100 rupees per litre and the diesel prices are more than 80 rupees and LPG also increased. Sir, 21 lakh crores have been collected by putting excess duty,
Okay, Kharge.
and all these things.
I have allowed you.
Sir, because of this, the entire country is suffering. This
Please,
is very important issue.
Because it's an important issue, I have allowed you to mention it, though you know the rules position. 267 is at the discretion of the chair. I have gone through it. There are enough opportunities, including appropriation bill and other occasions, to discuss it. But still, because you are a senior and also leader of the opposition, you have given a notice. I have just allowed you to mention the subject. You have rightly mentioned the subject, and we leave it there and we move on.
It is very important.
Now it's raining sops in Tamil Nadu in election season. A day after DMK promised 1,000 rupees a month for housewives with ration card, Chief Minister and AIADMK leader EPS has upped that figure. He has promised 1,500 a month for housewives. He also promised 6 free LPG cylinders for every family a year. And in Tamil Nadu, Congress has bargained for more seats. But what about their performance? Sanket Upadhyay reports.
So as far as the Congress party is concerned, there is a seat gamble where it is being seen as a pattern that there is a mega bargain with minimum performance, and that seems to be putting their alliance partners under a lot of pressure. Not the Congress, but their alliance partners. Well, we are talking about Tamil Nadu, where the seat sharing has resulted in the Congress managing 25, and that also happened after a great degree of back and forth negotiation, counter negotiation, but finally the Congress managed 25 in Tamil Nadu. Now in 2016, the Congress had bargained hard, again true to their character, they bargained hard for 41 seats. But how much did they deliver? They won only 8. So you can see that their strike rate in Tamil Nadu has been poor. The Congress's, there are in fact concerns over Congress's poor strike rate at play in ticket distribution this time around. That's why from 41 they have come down to 25. And add to that the added pressure as MIM has announced an alliance with TTV Dinakaran, which means more competition for the Congress party. Now if you recall, there is a history to this. In Bihar, for instance, the Congress bargained for 70 seats, 70 with the RJD. What was their strike rate? They won only 19. Bargained for 70, won 19. That's the reality as far as the Congress is concerned. In fact, they got 8 seats less than the 2015 tally in Bihar. So is this a factor at play as far as alliance partners are concerned, that they're dealing with a Congress party which bargains heavily for a pre-poll scenario or a seat sharing arrangement but fails to deliver?
Now, as people lined up to catch a glance of Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan at Kannur, his home turf, he hit out at the Union Home Minister Amit Shah while addressing his supporters. In response to the 7 questions asked by Amit Shah during the BJP rally on Sunday, Pinarayi Vijayan shot out a series of counter questions.
ഇവിടെ വർഗീയതയുടെ ആൾരൂപമാണ് അമിത്ഷാ എന്ന് രാജ്യത്താകെ അറിയാത്തതല്ല. അദ്ദേഹം വർഗീയത ഏതെല്ലാം തരത്തിൽ വളർത്തിയെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റും, അതിനുവേണ്ടി എന്തും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരാളാണ്.
From Kerala, let's shift focus to poll-bound Assam, where both the BJP-led alliance and the Grand Alliance of the Congress have not projected chief ministerial candidates. While the Congress is searching for a face after the death of former Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, the BJP this time has not projected Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal. Remember, there's another powerful BJP leader there in Himanta Biswa Sarma. Ratnadeep Chaudhary reports.
Assam's Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal inaugurating the biography of Amit Shah. Translated to Assamese by the man considered his political rival, Himanta Biswa Sarma, the BJP's go-to man in the northeast. The two may appear cordial on stage, but Mr. Sarma, it is believed, has emerged as a strong contender for the Chief Minister's post. So strong that the BJP has unusually not projected Mr. Sonowal, a sitting Chief Minister, as the CM candidate.
जब सरकार नहीं रहता था तब मुख्यमंत्री का उम्मीदवार आगे रहता है, जब सरकार रहता है तब मुख्यमंत्री का उम्मीदवार डिक्लेयर नहीं करता है। इलेक्शन होने के बाद पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड ने डिसीजन लेगा और हम लोग का जो सिस्टम है, जो पार्टी ने जो डिसीजन लेगा वही डिसीजन का आधार है एक मुख्यमंत्री होगा।
The two leaders want to play it down.
It is up to the party. It is up to the parliamentary board. They are to decide. Why you are worried?
I think you should not divide our party on the basis of individual. They have already said that it is the prerogative of parliamentary party to announce a candidate. Even it can be done by tomorrow, it can be done by day after tomorrow, it can be done after post-election. We should patiently wait for an announcement from Delhi.
Even the Congress-led alliance has not named a CM face.
During Tarun Gogoi regime, he was always the face of the party in Assam, but after his demise, the party is yet to pick up a face among the next generation leaders who otherwise have become collective faces of the party campaign in Assam.
Every elections you have seen, we never project a CM face. Tarun Gogoi sir was the PCC president, so of course under his leadership, the party went for election. Similarly, in this election also you have seen how all the leaders have worked together.
By playing safe, the BJP would hope to blunt the subtle fictionalism between its top leaders. But by not projecting Mr. Sonowal as Chief Minister, will it give grist to the opposition? With Ratnadeep Chaudhary in Guwahati, Osama Shah for NDTV.
The other big story, the centre has taken over the Ambani bomb scare probe. An NIA probe has been ordered. Meanwhile, a political war has now broken out. While the BJP has welcomed the NIA probe, the Chief Minister has said that something's fishy.
जर का त्या व्यतिरिक्त NIA कडे हा तपास घेण्याचा डाव केंद्राचा असेल म्हणजे नक्कीच ह्याच्यामध्ये काहीतरी त्यांचं काळबेर आहे.
उसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन हमारी ATF कर रही थी, लेकिन आज केंद्र शासन की जो संस्था है NIA, उन्होंने वो तपास अपनी तरफ लिया है.
On February 25th, a stolen SUV car with explosives and a threatening letter against Mukesh and Neeta Ambani was found outside the residence of Mukesh Ambani, one of the world's richest men. But last week, under mysterious circumstances, the owner of the car was found dead. Initially, an accidental death report was filed which the ATS converted into a murder case. The post-mortem was not conclusive and reserved opinion until a chemical analysis is done.
All these questions are a matter of investigation, but it also raises question on the local authorities as to why they were not able to make any headway in this case in the past 2 weeks. But now with the NIA being roped in, one can only hope for a fair and thorough investigation. In Mumbai with camera person Sanjay Mandal and Rajendra Dayalkar, this is Purva Chitnis for NDTV.
Now, at least 7 people have died in a huge fire in Kolkata. Fire broke out on the 13th floor of a multi-story building on Strand Road in Kolkata. Let's go across to Monideepa Banerjee for more on this. Monideepa, have all the people there been accounted for?
No, I don't think it would be accurate to say that all people on the 2 floors that have been affected by the fire, the 12th and the 13th floor, I don't think we can say that all people on those floors have been accounted for. However, on the 12th floor, I understand 7 bodies have been found. Tragically, 5 of those bodies were inside an elevator. We don't know if the 2 people whose bodies were found outside the elevator were on that floor or in the elevator. And of course, the fire minister said there would be an inquiry into why those people were in an elevator during a fire. Of those 5 people inside the elevator, 4 were firemen. 1 person out of the 7 cannot be identified, but 4 firemen, 1 railway protection force personnel, and 1 policeman from Kolkata Police. These persons have been identified. This whole building, New Koila Ghat, that is a rail, most of the officers are with the railway, the Eastern Railway, And that is where apparently on the 13th floor the fire started. There are server rooms there, offices as well. And there were people around 6:30 when the fire started. There were people in the building. Most were evacuated, it seems, but 13th and 12th floor badly affected. The Chief Minister has just announced a compensation of 10 lakh rupees each to the next of kin of the dead.
All right, Monideepa Banerjee, we leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us with those details from Kolkata. Time for a short break. On this other side, on Women's Day, women farmers take the lead at the protest sites on Delhi's borders. We'll get you a report on the other side. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the latest numbers of the India's vaccination drive. Monday saw the highest number of vaccinations given in a single day. Nearly 17 lakh vaccine doses were administered till 9 p.m. on Monday. Total vaccinations for those above 60 years of age on Monday was over 10 lakh, and over 48 lakh general population has been vaccinated so far. Now, more women protesters and farmers were present on the farmer protest sites on Delhi's borders to mark International Women's Day. Over the last 6 months, women farmers from states of Haryana and Punjab have participated in staged protest against the farm laws.
जब आंधी उठती है तो दिन रात बदल देती है, जब आंधी उठती है तो दिन रात बदल देती है, जब गरजती है नारी शक्तियां तो इतिहास बदल देती हैं.
Pooja, a 45-year-old farmer from Haryana, made her way to the protest a day earlier on a tractor. Also a poet by passion, recited few lines passionately about women. On Women's Day, women protesters, aware of the punch they bring to the farm law protest, now on their 102nd day. 33-year-old Suman Hudda from Hisar in Haryana is one such volunteer who has been at the protest site since day one.
वैसे तो हमें हर रोज सम्मान मिलता है, हर रोज हमारा दिन है, पर आज स्पेशल हमें मान सम्मान देने के लिए एक दिन हमें सौंपा गया है. तो आप महिलाओं की तादाद देख सकते हैं, आप सैकड़ों की संख्या में, हजारों की संख्या में यहाँ पे महिलाएं देख रहे हैं.
ठंड की रातों में दिसंबर में लोहड़ी हमने यही मनाई. टेंट के नीचे हमने सोना सीख लिया है, हमने पानी की बुशारों को सहना सीख लिया है, आंदोलन को जारी रखने हमने ये भी सीख लिया है.
For months now, women have marked their presence at the farmers' protest, but on International Women's Day, the show of strength the Samyukt Kisan Morcha had said would be at least 15,000 women expected to gather.
Farmers have been protesting at the Delhi borders for over 100 days now. Women have been an integral part of this movement. Some who have been here since day one say that they see no reason to return and that they will continue fighting for their rights and their demands. With camera Sushil Rathi at Tikki border, Shanakshi Chakravarti for NDTV.
And finally, NDTV's world exclusive with world number 1 Novak Djokovic. He says that Nadal and Federer are special in my career and my life.
What would you say to young players coming up in a country like India, which in some ways, like Serbia, we don't have a great tennis tradition, the facilities aren't that good, it is still an elite sport. What would your advice be to them?
Well, first of all, I think the essential ingredient is passion and love. You know, I still feel that excitement of holding a tennis racket that I felt when I was 4 or 5 years old. So I feel that you know, kids need to fall in love with this sport. They need to fall in love with spending time on the court. It needs to bring joy to them, because this is the most essential emotion that the kid needs to feel. Because if the child doesn't enjoy spending time on the tennis court or playing other sports or anything really, then it becomes a burden. It becomes the hurdle, and it shouldn't be that way. So, well, what I can say personally is that I'm going to use the opportunity to come to India very soon, hopefully in the near future, and hopefully I can transfer and convey some of that passion to youth in India, and you know, maybe with Leander Pace and other Indian tennis legends, we can start something that could be a nice for Indian tennis. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, that's a wrap on this bulletin from the entire team. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.